Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. This is our GH coverage for this week. Tommy, roll the credits and we'll get into it. Wow. I'm so glad we get to talk about this week because I really need to vent about some things.
Please. I love it when someone other than me goes on a big, long rant.
Okay, so the week started off with Portia and Curtis talking about the Heather situation.
Right.
So okay. So I don't like Portia. I can't stand her. Like whenever she's on the screen, I get really angry. She's just not my
I
favorite
get it.
person.
Once she took that really hard line against Spencer,
Hmm.
it was really hard for me to like her because for some reason she couldn't see how hard Spencer was working to be a good boyfriend and how much he was
Hmm.
doing for Trina and how much Trina cared about him. All she could see was his tertiary connection to Sonny, which is like
Hmm.
everyone in town. So that never made any sense to me.
Yeah.
And after that, I was just like, this woman is horrible. She just does not care what her daughter, like about her daughter's feelings at all. It's
No,
just whatever
no.
she wants.
It's exactly. She's very selfish. And I love when she said that this just shows how selfish she is. Trina was the only victim left from Heather. And I'm like, what about Jocelyn? What about like all the other people that like Liesel? Like all these other people are victims too. They lost and Sasha, they all lost people they loved. She's not
Right.
the only victim.
I don't know. I think I kind of tuned her out a little bit because like she keeps
Yeah.
acting like I don't know. I feel like you're right. I think she goes, Trina's the only one who's suffered. My daughter's
Yeah.
the only one who suffered.
Uh-huh.
And yet when
Exactly.
Spencer died, she was just basically like, "Oh, Trina, that's sad. Now get over it and date someone I like." And I just was like, "I can't believe what are you
You're
doing?"
so insensitive about the whole thing. And
She is all the time though. Like her character
mhm,
just seems to be very, like you said, selfish, self-centered.
yeah. Hmm. Okay, so TJ and Rick are at the new gym at Aurora working out,
Okay.
and TJ's trying to vent his frustration about the baby and everything that Christina did. And he says, I'll never forgive her, which I don't blame him. I wouldn't forgive her either. And I do like Rick in these scenes. I like that Rick's back. I really think he's doing. I like where they're going with him too. I think like he's getting involved in quite a few stories, which is great.
Yeah, he's being suckered into almost every storyline, and I
Yeah.
love that for him because Rick
Hmm.
Lansing is a very underutilized character from the previous times he's on. It's either
Hmm. Yeah.
or like he's a scumbag
Hmm.
or like that he shunted to the side and like Nina keeps reminding us of the storyline where he married her for her money and it's like yeah
Hmm.
that's funny because that was Michelle Stafford but like it's
Right.
just it's kind of fun to see that like they're bringing up the old storylines and kind of linking him to the new storyline so it feels more like he was out of town not off the canvas and forgotten for several
Right.
years.
Yeah, and I didn't like Nina until Cynthia Waters took off over the role. I didn't like Michelle
Really?
Stafford at all.
Oh.
No.
Oh,
Mm-mm.
Michelle was great. I love both, to be honest. I love both.
Yeah.
But I liked they were both two different interpretations of the character. Michelle
Yeah.
Stafford was like, if you were stuck permanently at the age of 16 because you were in a coma and you were
Mhm.
also insane, how would you live in a normal world? And I was like really along for that ride. And then
Mhm.
the Cynthia Watros is more like, I grew up a little bit, but I still have a real problem with accountability. You know?
I agree with that. Yeah. I just thought Michelle really overplayed the role a lot, and like Cynthia is a little more subtle, which I like.
I think there's something that can be said for being that character that is no holds barred. And I feel like
Yeah.
Robin's version of Heather was the no holds barred Heather.
Oh yeah.
And
Hmm.
Allie's doing a great job. I always love a second interpretation of a character. I always have fun with that. And I think
Hmm.
they both did a great job, but like Robin just gives it that like I believe in real life that this woman is insane. I do.
Yeah. So we'll talk about Christina and Molly next. I love when Molly
Team
laid into
Molly.
her. I'm always Team Molly. Yeah, I didn't. There was things I didn't like later that she did, but I love when she laid into Christina about TJ. Like, you don't even consider what TJ's going through, and those scenes are just great. I think the new Molly, well, she's like the third or fourth now, but like she's great. I love her.
I kind of wish we could see what Haley would have done with it.
Hmm.
Circumstances, we don't have Haley, but I do think the new Molly is doing an incredible job with what she's been given. And
Hmm.
last 2 weeks, they've really taken her sort of from like just being along for the ride to actually
Hmm.
agency and scenes. And you're right. This week, when she laid into Christina, she was 100% correct.
Hmm.
And you could just see Christina's logic about the situation and how she was handling everything fall apart because it was a very thinly veneered reasoning over top of I want to keep the baby.
Right. Exactly. And I don't know. Like I said last time, Christina's very selfish. I don't really like her.
I like Christina. I think earlier on Christina was being played as a character who had a lot of trauma that her family didn't know how to handle because before this whole coddling of Christina thing seemed to start happening, for
Hmm.
years, Christina was ignored by Sonny, ignored by
Hmm.
Alexis, like just completely ignored until she was in the Donna Day cult. And everybody's like, how could she get in this? And then all of a sudden they're just like, Christina can't handle anything. And Christina's made of glass.
Hmm.
And I don't know if I like this transition because like now it seems like they're moving to her towards Sonny's heir, Molly. She's going to be like a mob mall, and Molly's going to be the new
Hmm.
Rick Lansing. So I don't know how I
Yeah.
feel about it.
And those scenes with Alexis where I really enjoyed the scenes with Molly and Alexis where she was like, "You always put Christina first," and Alexis is literally saying she things that are like indicating that she's putting Christina first, and Molly's like, "You're doing it right now."
Well, Chris, that's the thing is like all of a sudden it's like Alexis and Sonny decided that they cared about Christina. And then they
Hmm.
cared about her in a weird way. Like, whereas I always say that it's because her name is Christina, and like it's that whole sister to daughter problem that Alexis has in her brain. But she's
Hmm.
just like, Molly, you're a normal human being who can handle your life. So deal with your trauma because you can do it. And then it's like, but
Hmm.
Christina, she can't open a door without crying. So I need to be more there for her, which makes Molly
Hmm.
feel exactly what she said, rejected, neglected, and like she's emotionally bereft. Like they had to bring Rick into town to have a
Hmm.
member of her own family care about her. At the funeral for the baby, both her sisters, like it was her mom around her Christina, her sister around Christina, and she was with TJ's family.
Hmm.
And that's messed up.
Yeah. I also like when Molly said, "I'm stronger, I can handle it, and TJ and I'll get through this and just keep Christine away from me." Like,
Right.
you know,
Right. And I think Alexis was stupid not to listen to the need for time to have this all
it
calm
was
down.
that was not a good move on her part at all.
No, because she's giving Christina outs. She's saying Christina has postpartum depression from the trauma. She has
Mm,
this, she has that, she has this. I'm like, she was going to steal her sister's baby. She had papers. She was going to
mhm,
ruin her sister's life. And you're standing there basically telling Molly, that sucks, but she's sad right now. So we need to forget about all the crimes she was going to commit against you, like until she's fine.
yeah,
She's
it
never
doesn't make sense.
fine. So,
It's not fine, no.
no.
Alright, we'll talk about Lucky and Sidwell. So Lucky is still at the compound, and I loved these scenes. They were great. Especially with Holly and Lucky, they were great too. Lucky is playing a card game with Sidwell, and he's like, "Well, your luck's gonna run out eventually."
Have you seen The Princess Bride?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Do you remember with the Dread Pirate Roberts and he used to say, "Good night, Wesley, sleep well. I shall most likely kill you in the morning." Like
Yeah,
that's what's happening here.
right,
He,
right.
he's like, "Entertain me, and once you cease to entertain me, I will kill you.
That's
That was like,
exactly what's happening, yeah.
and Lucky is just sweating it and sweating it, and even with Holly, she's like, "Well, you're good enough. You can keep him going for a while. You're awesome. You're entertaining. You're just like
Yeah,
your father.
right.
Peace." And he's like, "No,
He's like, "What the fuck? What are you
get me
doing?
out of here."
Get me out of here."
Oh my god, Emma Sam's must be having so much fun.
Yeah, I like that this time they're writing Holly the way she was, and as opposed to her last return where she was not acting like Holly.
I was gonna say, depends on what year you're watching, since Eric and
Yeah,
I are I think we're in 81.
yeah,
No. No, 80, I think we're in 83 for watching Holly, and she hasn't become badass yet. She's
no,
just finding her footing. She's still cool. She's an amazing
mhm,
character. It's just she hasn't become super spy, crazy. So I
mhm.
love seeing her like this. It's so much fun.
It's a
I'm
lot of
really
fun.
excited.
I know she's after these diamonds, which is, why
Yeah,
she's
get it.
yeah. So back in Port Charles, Jordan rescues Isaiah from whoever they sent to kill him. One of Sitwell's men, I guess. So that was kind of cool. I liked seeing Jordan being a badass.
It was also awesome because that guy thought he could push past Jordan and get
Mhm.
away, and
Yeah.
she literally chased after him and knocked his ass out, and I was like, "That is so
That was
great."
awesome. Yeah, that was.
She really has WSB potential, I'm telling you, she does.
Mm-hmm.
I love her. Give her
Yeah.
more. Give her everything.
And it's funny. I like all the Jordans. I like the first one, the
Yeah.
second one, and I like this one. I like them all for sure. And then Isaiah wakes up later and he says Lucky's name while Liz is there. And I think Liz gets called away and TJ goes in and checks on him. We find out he got
TJ sends, Liz out
right,
because
right. That's right.
and
What
then
happened.
she immediately calls Carly? Ugh.
Yeah. She calls Carly, which is kind of weird because like Liz and Carly aren't really that close, but I think
Not
they're like
only are Liz and Carly not close, Carly was also not close with any of the Spencer children, and this always seems really weird
no.
to me.
It
And
is very weird that she's trying to advocate for Lulu now.
they missed an opportunity because they
Mhm.
really could have said, she could have said, after my mom died, I really, found out what the importance of family is. And then she could have said, I need to make it up to Lulu. I need to make it up to Lucky. And then we would have been on board. But her standing there like, Lulu and I used to be close. I'm like, you were never close.
No.
You
She
didn't
did
even
say
like
something
Luke's
to
children.
Jason about Bobby dying and put things in perspective for her, so
Yeah, but
maybe
it was,
it was very weak, though.
I know. I liked actually Steve Burton's response to her was like the better acting when he was like all about missing Bobby. Sorry, Laura. I love Laura Wright. But I thought that
Mhm.
the writing was better for Steve Burton's. He was just like, oh, your mom would have been, amazing in this. And I was like, oh, I miss Jackie's even.
Yeah, for sure. Um, let's see. So Anna is still over at Sunny's. uh, these are great scenes too. Anna's still over at Sunny's questioning everybody, and she wants Jason to come with her. But Jason has the gun on him that he's going to be disposing of. So um, he's trying. He kind of was like, "No, I don't. You don't really need me. Like, there's nothing
Yeah,
I."
I've got to hide this gun.
No, exactly. And does Diane just show up all of a sudden, and then she kind of like says to Anna, which I thought was great. I love this line where she was like, "Well, you're his alibi, so what do you need Jason for?" I love Diane; she's great.
I was kind of upset in this. First off, I was upset when Sonny handed the gun to Jason. Like
Mm.
I
Oh
hate
yeah.
that. I hate it. And then to have Jason standing in that room with a murder weapon on him while
Mhm.
Sonny's all smug and I mean, if I liked Sonny, I'm sure these scenes would have been amazing. I would have really been
Mhm.
excited about it, but I don't. So I'm not excited about it. I just feel
Mhm.
like he could have ruined Jason's life in that moment. If Anna
Mhm.
had probable cause, which she kind of did because he was acting shady, and checked
Mhm.
him and found the gun, he's now an
Mhm.
accessory to murder after the fact.
Yeah,
So
sure.
Also, I
um,
was as disappointed as Anna was in Jason in those scenes. I was just like, at least she's showing the disappointment I feel.
right, yeah, I felt the same disappointment.
Yay.
And then Michael and Christina arrive later on, and they have a discussion. And Sonny finds out that Christina took the gun. And has Alexis been arrested or not arrested? Like pulled in for questioning yet?
No, because I think that happens while Molly's talking. Wait, whenever Molly was talking to Alexis
Hmm.
is when they
Right.
came because Matt came and did it himself, which
That's
is because
right.
Mac's the
Mhm.
most decent man in Port Charles. So he came to get her because he didn't want anybody else to have to do it.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Molly freaks out because now, because of her sister that she loves so much, her mother is now being arrested.
Right. Which is crazy. I
Yeah.
didn't have that on my bingo card. I really thought it was gonna be Christina, but
I am a little upset because they just gave Alexis back her law license. So now put her
yeah.
in a position where she might be stripped of it before she
Mhm.
even gets it reinstated is frustrating for me.
Yeah, I agree with that because I mean, I was looking forward to seeing Alexis back in the courtroom and everything.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah. I know not everybody likes to learn all the law dialogue and stuff. I'm sure it's a hassle, but she crushes in a courtroom and I do want to see that.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about Lois. Okay, so I did not like her hair, her new hairstyle at all. I thought it was really weird.
This is what you focused on.
Yeah.
That was Cirillo's hair.
Well, that was bothering me. I'm sorry. And her not using her accent was bothering me too. I'm like, just if you're not like on air, you don't need to,
I
have
do
your
have a
accent.
problem with the accent because first off, I'm so used to Lois sounding like Lois, so I want
Right.
that. Also,
Mhm.
with her daughter standing there with Brooklyn talking to her and having Brooklyn's softened version of the accent, it's like, couldn't we just give Lois the softened version of the same accent?
Right.
Because it feels like she's speaking with
Mhm.
too many pauses.
Yeah,
That's weird.
that's what was bothering me, yeah. There was so many things bothering me, but I don't
I
really
didn't
like
mind her
the
hair.
storyline at all, like, I mean, it's just weird because of, like, Lois is just very confident, doesn't care what people think of her, so, like, it's just not
Yeah, I don't understand the point of this.
I don't know.
I
Mhm.
don't know where they're going with it. Like, I'm gonna trust the process, but I do like when she got mad at Tracy, her accent came flying back
Came
immediately.
back. That was
I was
great.
like, "That's me in a fight." I get so Philadelphian.
I did enjoy that, and,
Yeah, so I liked that, and they were fighting over, Brooklyn and Chase, like, they're because they've had, Violet there for a long time, it's and Violet's asking when they're gonna have kids, and
mm,
it's making them think about it, so she was just kind of basically talking to her mother about, "Is it too soon? When should we have kids? Should we do it now?" And
right.
Tracy gets in the conversation and makes a really great point. You're newlyweds, you should spend time together before you have kids, but they
Mhm.
kinda like, Lois kinda takes it as, "It's none of your business, let them do whatever they want."
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Tracy, sound advice. That's what that
Yeah.
is. So,
But I do think Lois was correct when she said that, Tracy was afraid that she was gonna lose her bond with Brooklyn if, like, she had kids. So, because I know they have, like, a great relationship, and she wants her to stay at Deception, so I did enjoy that scene between Lois and Tracy. I thought that was a really good moment between them.
well, Lois has a really unique ability of seeing straight through everybody's crap and
Yeah.
getting to the heart of what it is. And Tracy's a very complicated woman because she was
Mhm.
raised by Edward Quartermain. And it's
Mhm.
really hard for her to show her emotions in a healthy, normal way. You see that when she interrupts the brunch and
Mhm.
she's aggressive and nasty for no reason. She's just hurt and upset and she doesn't have any place to put those emotions. And
Yeah.
again, that gets clocked by Felicia. Like
Mhm.
the empathetic characters are always like, Tracy's more than an angry Quartermain.
Yeah, she really is.
Yeah,
That's
she is.
why we love Tracy. She's very multifaceted, and she has a
Yeah.
lot of layers to her. Okay.
Plus, she's not against withholding her father's medication so that he would die of a heart attack.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to mention Carly has recruited Jason to go rescue Lucky, which I thought was interesting because especially because, okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. Jason and Lucky don't have the best relationship.
Nope.
That's what I thought. And now all of a sudden they're friends because Jason, Carly said Jason or Lucky would trust Jason. And I'm like, I don't think that's true.
I think he would trust him. I do think
Okay.
he would trust him in that scenario
Yeah.
for his help. But are they close? No. There was a
No.
whole thing with Liz, and when Lucky was on drugs and cheating on
Mhm.
Liz with Maxie, and Jason's always been close with Liz. So like there was a whole mess between all of them.
Yeah, that's great.
Plus, they
Mhm.
both have the kid with her. Like, there's a lot of history there that's not particularly friendly. So, I don't know. It just seems, look, I'm happy about it because it's going to put Jason and Anna into another adventure together. And I'm all for that every day, any way you
Yeah,
can make it happen. But it does kind of play into the idea that Jason is the only hero on the show and he's the only one that can do anything great. And
yeah.
they had a few times with Drew, like when they all went to the Greek island and basically Laura saved everyone and they gave all the credit to Drew. He was in one fight. It was Laura did everything. And they turned around and they're like, this guy did it. And I'm like, what?
Yeah. Wow. Sometimes I don't know what the writers are thinking. Like, I mean,
Well, it's also how the characters would react in those scenes. Like if they didn't
right.
see Laura did everything lining up to that and they only see the ending part of it. I mean, come on. In the one storyline, Laura remembered the Ice Princess formula, the carbonite snow formula that she learned in 1980. She remembered it last year. That's
Mhm.
crazy that she's like amazing. And then they're just like, these boys did it. The boys did it.
Right? Um, okay, so this scene I thought was really, I don't know if the writers forgot or whatever, but Mac, Felicia, Cody, Sasha, James, and Georgie are all having lunch at the gatehouse right where Jagger was just murdered. So I'm like, shouldn't there be like, like do not enter or like there's little what are those yellow
Yo,
everywhere
so
or something?
no, 100%. It was like, oh, there was a body here. And they were like, hose it off. We're having brunch here Sunday.
Right? It is very strange.
What does that say about the Quartermains that like people can be murdered at the house and they're just like, keep it moving?
And that was there's another thing I wanted. Shouldn't the FBI be involved in this investigation? Why is
Yep.
Anna, you know what I mean? Like
The
there
murder of a federal agent would be a
is a
federal
federal
crime.
crime.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why isn't the FBI
We don't
investigating
have
this?
any more FBI agents.
No,
Jason keeps
he was the only
killing them.
one
Sonny
being
keeps
portrayals.
murdering them. There's nobody left. Do you like the FBI offices? I just like to imagine that at the FBI offices, they're like, no, I'm not sending anyone else to Port Charles. They keep turning up dead.
Exactly. Yeah.
What was your rant? What were you going to rant about?
I kind of already ranted about Lois and then the whole the scene with the picnic table with the that was just not the writing was just a little not the continuity was off a little bit.
the
That
whole
was
thing,
kind of
the whole thing
yeah.
that's weird is the Quartermain property is enormous, right?
Mhm.
And they're down by obviously we've got some people living in the gatehouse, we've got Cody in
Mhm.
the carriage house, we've got kids above the garage. The Quartermain mansion has been packed full of people. You'd think they'd want to have this brunch at the park.
Mhm.
So Tracy wouldn't come and yell at Sasha on her day off, where she's cooking brunch for another family on her day off. And like she wouldn't
Mhm.
have gotten herself into such an aggressive scene with Tracy if they hadn't been on the property. But
Right.
at the same time, they were literally disrespectfully standing over the place where Jagger was murdered, which goes to show you how the town felt about Jagger.
Right. Well, Jagger and Mac were like friends. Like they knew like they were good
And he was
friends.
standing over where his corpse was with
Right.
nothing. Not
Yeah.
even like, this is a weird place to have brunch.
Right. I did like though when James was like pointed asked Cody if Sasha was sleeping over. That was cute.
So that was an instance of one of the writers has to have a kid around that age because
Yes.
they listen to everything you say and they repeat it.
Mhm.
And also, that's going to get Willow into trouble because that little boy saw her kissing Drew. So I was kind of hoping that would
I was
come
waiting
out.
for that to come out.
By the way, ignore my broken slider doors behind me.
Oh, you're
See,
good.
I'll
No,
fix
I
them
was waiting for
eventually.
James to say something about Drew and Willow at the table.
Yeah. I don't know. I also like that Jordan, you could tell, like, oh, sorry, just skip to another part. Is like Jordan, when Jordan was talking to Drew about the campaign again, he could see
Mhm,
that she was lighting up about rescuing Isaiah. And
mhm,
like he was like, oh, you're gonna leave me back for the police force. You look like you're going back into it. And I'm like, please do. Like, it's a
yeah,
waste to have her doing
mhm,
paperwork. Like, ugh, it's just such a
mhm.
waste. Well, what other things? Like Isaiah's fun this week. We're starting to get to know him.
Yeah, I like
He,
her.
yeah, me too. He's a very good friend. He's like super worried about Lucky.
Mhm.
He's interacting pretty well with Liz and Carly, and he's flirting with Jordan a little bit, which was fun.
Yeah,
I
I
like
hope they
him.
put them together. I really do. Jordan needs a love interest.
Jordan needs everything.
I
Jordan should be
know.
having adventure storylines. Jordan should
Yes,
be dating multiple men at the same time. I want her to have fun.
I agree. Yeah, Jordan deserves it. So the compound has moved as Brennan has discovered, and Carly, as we said, Carly recruits Jason to go look for Lucky. So that's where we're at with that. And Laura and Kevin are MIA. Maybe Jeannie Francis is on
They're
vacation.
on vacation.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's Jeannie's vacation. So she does a summer vacation, and
Yeah, I knew she did a summer
she
vacation.
deserves it. Give
Yeah.
her everything. Give her anything she wants forever.
Yeah, I am looking forward to her having scenes with Jonathan Jackson again in the football
Oh
ball. I
God,
can't wait. That's gonna
I'm
be
so excited. To be honest with you, I'm excited to see Jonathan Jackson in like every scene with somebody that was on the show when he was previously on, because
good.
it's just going to be reunions left, right, and center, because there's Mac and
Mhm,
Felicia, and there's
mhm.
so many cast members that were there when he was a little kid. I wish they would bring back Sly.
Oh,
What
really?
happened
We're
to
wa
him?
we're watching Sly now, and, like, he's pretty annoying.
Oh, you're terrible. You're terrible. So is it the end of this where Anna tells Jason she's in his seat?
Yeah. No, Jason tells Anna he's in her seat. Jason says, "Anna,
Oh
you're in."
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay, you're right. I
yeah,
got it backwards.
that's
But
where we
I
ended.
loved that because I
Uh-huh.
want them. I feel like Jason's ripe for the WSB, and it's time to get
Mhm.
him out of the mob storyline. It doesn't look like he wants to go back into it. I don't know why
I
he
do
would.
like that they're giving him other things to do than being Sonny's henchman. Like, I like that a lot, and I
And on
think
the other hand of it, they've suckered Carly right back into being Sonny's alibi, which sucks for her.
yeah, I'm glad that, like, at least she's, like, moving towards maybe having a relationship with Brennan because I don't I Sonny
So much
and Carly,
chemistry.
again, I can't do it. I can't do it.
You don't want them to get married for the sixth time? What is
N
wrong with you? Six times is the
no.
charm.
No, I don't. I'm over their relationship. I have been for probably about 15 years.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes I do feel like Laura Wright is kind of wasted being trapped into the same character arc over and over and over again, because Carly's character arc is she breaks up with Sonny because Sonny does something terrible,
Mhm.
and then he sucks her back in with some kind of dramatic situation that affects her family, and then they fall in love again, and then they're back together until the cycle repeats itself. How many times has he
Exactly.
cheated on her? A
I don't
lot.
even know.
Like a lot.
Many,
So I don't
many.
know. And I love Laura Wright. I think she's a trip. I like her scenes with Steve Burton.
Mhm.
I like when Carly creatively rewrites her history.
Yeah, that's always fun.
She's always so funny about it. She's like, yeah, well, we weren't friends.
Right, especially like, yeah, I never had anything against Lulu. I'm like, "Yeah, you did."
She doesn't remember it. She doesn't remember it. Like
I think
her
she
her
just blocks things out. I don't.
Oh, please. Eric will tell you that every time Monica talks about how much she loved Jason as a child, that I scoff, because we're watching that, and it's not true. She hated that baby, and
Well,
so
why would she love him? Because it's not her kid, but
yeah, it's an affair baby from a woman she
right.
didn't like, who was a pain and then was murdered. So it's kind of like
Mhm,
a whole thing. I think Carly does the same thing. I think when you look back over 20, 30 years of your life, you soften stuff. You're like,
mhm,
oh, that fight between us was just a fight between young women. And it's like, no,
mhm,
you hated each other, and that was how it was. Because Luke's attitude towards Carly translated to the children's attitude towards Carly,
mhm.
because Carly came in and ruined Bobby's relationship with Tony, and Luke loves his sister more than anyone in the world.
Right.
So all of that poisons all the relationships.
Mhm. Oh, I wanted to get back to Molly. Molly, this is what I didn't care for. Molly turned Christina in to Detective Chase. So
I love that.
you love that? I didn't
Yep,
agree
sure.
with that.
Sure. I feel like it mirrors exactly what Rick did to Alexis.
It
So
does.
I kind of liked that as kind of a symmetry between father and daughter.
Yeah.
And also I think it needed to be expected, because if she can't give them someone else, they'll take Alexis.
Well, I get she wants to save her mom. I get that. But I just felt that Molly, as the character I know, she would let the investigation take care of that herself instead of getting herself involved. Because she is an assistant DA. So I feel like
It's
that
true,
was a
but
little.
she's not wrong. And I
Oh,
don't
I'm not saying she's wrong. I'm just saying
no,
I
no,
feel like.
but she's not wrong about Christina not having an alibi. She's not wrong
Mhm,
about Christina having the gun, and she's
mhm,
she's giving them another suspect, because right now they don't have a lot of evidence against Alexis. It's all circumstantial.
right,
So if she can throw doubt on that, reasonable doubt on that, it will help Alexis. And I think that's all she's thinking about right now.
right. I
And
think.
also, Christina has ruined her life. So if she could throw a bit of that shade back her direction, I don't think she cares anymore. She really hates her sister right now.
Yeah, and rightfully so.
Mhm.
For sure. Um, is
I
there
only
anything
have
else?
brothers. I don't know about sister relationships.
Yeah, is there anything else you wanted to mention? I think that's all I
um,
have.
I just really like Holly, and she
Mhm,
was so playful and fun, and I like had such a good time with. We really only have this room with a poker table in it for Lucky's scene so far, and
mhm.
they've managed to make this one room with a poker table so much fun, and it's just like a nod to writing. Like, that's great writing.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really happy how they've handled his return, and bringing Holly into the mix was great. Like, it's been great.
I'm always excited when Holly's in the mix. I do hope for Ethan. I don't know if they'll do that, but I would like to see Ethan again. Get them
Yeah.
all. Get them all in.
Get the original, not that blonde one we saw a
Yeah,
couple
what
weeks
was I don't
ago.
I mean, he was fine. It's not like he was a bad actor or anything, but it just was
Yeah,
not what I expected. And I'm like,
wasn't
was he
yeah,
busy? Like,
right.
that was how I was when Jagger Cates came on, and I'm like, where's Antonio Sabata Jr.? He busy? You
Right.
know? I would have liked to have seen him come back just for the continuity.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for joining us for our GH coverage this week. We will be back next week with some more GH coverage, but be sure to check out our Patreon for some additional GH talk this week.
And comment, because I will answer you.